Well, it is Wednesday and I am back in the office. I was in Reading, Pennsylvania today in federal court handling a sentencing for a client. The federal court proceedings are much different than state court, whether it be in Pennsylvania or New Jersey. In this particular case, we were dealing with a sentencing, and it's important to understand that in federal court after 2005, following the case of United States versus Booker, the Supreme Court ruled that federal judges were no longer bound by the federal sentencing guidelines. They were found to be advisory and not mandatory. So with that said, today's proceedings, we were able to achieve a very good result for a client based on our advocacy. This young man, unfortunately, the evidence in this case was overwhelming, and sometimes it just doesn't make sense to proceed the trial, and you have to work out a sentencing argument for the client before the court, and that's what we did today. We achieved a very good result. I was very satisfied with it. This young man was facing, according to the guidelines, anywhere between 63 to 78 months, so a substantial period of incarceration, and he ended up coming out with a little less than 2 years. So it was a very good result. We were satisfied with it. But that being said, I'm going to link in a couple articles on federal sentencing procedures and explain the case of U.S. v. Booker. I'm also going to explain what's called a 5K between the U.S. government and defense. I'm also going to explain downward departures and what that involves. And it's important to understand that if you are proceeding in federal court, your attorney must have a firm understanding of the sentencing procedure, because it is much, much different than state proceedings. And if you're walking in the federal court and your case is not going to go to trial, and even if it is going to go to trial, your attorney has to be able to explain that to you. You have to understand that if you're going to trial, what you possibly face, and if you're going to, if your case is going to end up in a plea, how the judge could fashion a sentence and what your attorney can do to bring that down based on the seriousness of your offense, your prior criminal history, and then really get into your background. And that may involve other professionals like a psychologist, a psychiatrist. That may also involve your attorney looking back even further, perhaps even as far back as your high school records, to see if there was something there, perhaps your childhood, that sparked all of this. So if you have questions, 215-755-9000 in Pennsylvania, 856-793-7429 in New Jersey. It is Wednesday. We're halfway through the week, but we understand that a criminal offense could happen at any time or place, and that's why we make ourselves available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The website, GamboneLaw.com, which you can sign up for our free weekly newsletter. It goes out every Friday to over 3,000 of our current and former clients. We discuss a variety of topics in that newsletter, like sentencing guidelines, federal sentencing guidelines, downward departures, variances, all very important information that most people don't understand. Never make an assumption when it comes to a criminal case. I was meeting with a client this afternoon a few minutes ago, and we were talking about his case, and he said that, someone on the street told him this. And I don't mean to insult anybody, but if you're going into a case, you must take the advice of your attorney. That's why you retain that person. And you don't want to take advice from a friend. It may be your best friend in the world, but that person has no idea what has to happen in court, what is needed to get a certain result. So once again, if you have questions, 215-755-9000 in Pennsylvania, 856-793-7429 in New Jersey. Have a great Wednesday, and I will talk to you all soon.